Hey guys, how's it going? Dominic here, and we're gonna have another great episode today. Um, on the last video, I showed you guys the bottom end assembly with the new pistons and bearings and rods and all that stuff. Today we're gonna be working on the head, and so that we can get this engine put together and put back in the car and start romping on it. Um, I'm going to show you guys today how to remove your valves, how to change your valve seals, and how to clean up your valves themselves. This head is practically brand new. The person who owned the car before me must have bought a new head for it. This had a manufacturer stamp on it, so it's not the stock head that was on it. It is a newer head. I had it machined, had it decked, had it hot tanked, so it's super clean. But there is some carbon buildup on the valves, and after you've had something hot tanked, seals go out after that. So I want to replace all these valve seals. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that today. I do want to bring up something that's pretty cool and pretty important. Me and Aaron have been kind of racking our brains lately on the name of this channel. And, at first we came up with the name Build Bros, and it fit, it worked really good, but after doing a search online, we found another Build Bros. So we don't want to steal somebody's name or anything like that, and that's just not our style. So I did a Facebook poll the other day and asked, what between two names. And it was Build Bros, because we were still on the fence with using it, and Build Factor. So Build Bros or Build Factor. And Aaron really liked Build Factor. I did as well. So I added it on Facebook and I asked friends, what they liked better, Build Bros or Build Factor. And I had a lot of responses on that post, and it was kind of close. There was a lot of people for Build Bros, but Build Factor definitely took the cake on that one. So I am happy to announce that the YouTube channel, we will be calling this channel Build Factor. So I like it. It's classy, it sounds good, it's professional, and so I wanted you guys to know. You'll probably see it in the title, but it is Build Factor from this point forward, and we're going to be keeping with all the builds that we're doing, and we're going to keep a lot of content for you guys, and we're going to show you guys a lot of things. And after you're done watching these videos, you guys should have no problem rebuilding a Honda. And a lot of these things are similar with other cars across the way. So later on in this channel, we'll have Chevys. We'll have a lot of different vehicles, not just Honda. So yeah, I'm really excited to announce that, guys. Build Factor. And we'll make stickers, we'll make shirts and hats and stuff, and we're planning on doing a raffle and all kinds of stuff. So just want to let you guys know that, and then let's go ahead and get on with this head here. I'm going to give you a rundown on this. So this head is really nice, super clean. It did just get hot tanked. It's just a stock head, a stock D16 Z6 head, stock springs, retainers, and all that. So it's just really nice. There's not hardly any wear at all in those cam gallows. This is the exhaust side. Intake side looks really good, and let me show you the bottom here. Like I said, I just had it machined, so it is it's beautiful. I mean, it is super clean, super fresh mating surface for the head gasket, and obviously the block was just decked too, so it's a perfect mating surface. But if you guys see here, um, these valves are pretty dark. There's a lot of buildup. I actually already cleaned this valve before filming, so that's what they're all going to look like, but you can barely see them in the camera right now. They're so black. So I'm going to show you guys how to take these out, clean them up, and put new valve seals in. And yeah, it's really easy. It's a little time consuming, just because you go individually, and yeah, it takes a little bit of time. But let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to try to position the camera somewhere better so you can see it better here. That should work. So basically what we're going to do here is, in these valves there's these little retaining clips, and what you're going to do is you're going to squish this spring down, and it's going to basically release tension on these clips, and then you can take apart the whole assembly. It's very important that you guys don't lose these clips. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in here so that I don't lose them. You just don't want to lose them. And you also, another big important step here is you always want to return the valve to the original spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one by one. A lot of people will take them all out and number them. I just do the safe route and do it one by one. So I'll go ahead and show you now how to do this. I use a socket and actually hit it. So you find a socket that just sits on the top of the actual spring itself. It doesn't go over it obviously, but it leaves that opening for that. And then what I do is I also put a extension in the back so that the little clips don't fly out of the back when I hit it, so it keeps it retained in there. Since I already did a valve on this side here, I'm going to keep going on that side. So let's see here. Alright, so this valve right here I'm going to go ahead and get. I'm just going to stick it right on top and hit it. And that busted it loose. Alright, so I just pull a spring right off here. It has a top piece which holds those clips. There's the spring. Now I do have the little pieces here. I'm going to carefully grab them out. So if you guys can see that, that is one of the little halves that slides in there and holds it. There's a little groove inside there that actually holds itself on the valve. Alright, so with those out, we have access to the valve itself now. So this is the valve, guys, and this right here is the seal. So we're going to want to take this seal out. We're going to want to take the valve out first. So basically we're just going to push it through the other side. You want to make sure to be careful and not bend it when you push it through. Just a couple light taps and you can pull that valve right out. So if you guys can see that, it's pretty dark. It's not that bad, but there's definitely cleanup that we can do here. There's a lot of buildup on that rim itself, so we're going to go ahead and clean that up. Alright guys, what I like to do here with cleaning up these valves, you can use a wire disc on a drill, or you can use anything that's going to be soft, that's not going to take any material off of this valve. You don't want to hurt this valve at all. It does seal right here on the edge, so you don't want to mess any of that up. You don't want to bend it. You don't want to have any of those issues. So what I'm going to do here is I'm simply going to use brake cleaner and a 3M pad. This is not going to take any material off, but it will clean this up. So basically I'm just going to shoot a little bit of brake cleaner on this here, and then I'm just going to start cleaning it up. So if you can see, the top of that's already cleaning up really good. Where this was all black, this is already cleaning up pretty good. The hardest part is actually on top of this valve here to get, so I will use a wire brush on this part to actually set it on the table and scrub on it. Nice catch. That would have not been good. Alright guys, this valve is looking good. So I'm going to spray it off here with some brake cleaner and wipe it off. This valve is good to go. All the carbon is off of it. It's down to raw material now. So if you see guys, it's just the raw material now. There is no carbon buildup at all on this valve, and so now it is good to go. I'll show you guys now how to go ahead and put this in. So before I go ahead and put this valve in, I'm going to run this inside of this valve seat just to clean it out a little bit, and then I'll show you guys how to remove the valve seal and put the new valve seal in. Alright, so we are clean inside there. Carbon is removed. Now, in here you do see the valve seal right there. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our pliers and we're going to very carefully wiggle this valve out. You want to be careful when doing this. You can rock it back and forth. And it's important to not scrape this part when you're pulling it out. You want to make sure not to damage that at all when pulling the valve out, the valve seal out. So here's our valve seal guys, the old nasty valve seal. There's basically no seal in there at all. So yeah, this would have definitely caused some oil blow by and some smoking, definitely. So good we're doing this. So we've got that out there. Now what we're going to do is grab our new valve seal out of the packaging. Here we go. Here's our new valve seal. So what we're going to do here is we are going to stick this on this part here where we just took it off. Now you want to try to get it on there as even as you can. Now what I'm going to use here is I'm going to use a socket. A socket that's big enough to cover this area and not touch the spring that's on there, but big enough to stop on the metal, the outside parameter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it on there until it sits down. Now you can normally tell when it's on because of the sound changes. It will become a more dense sound. Hear that change right there? That means we made contact. So we are all the way down. Now I'm just going to put it back on and give it 2 more just to make sure. And we are all the way down, guys. So our new valve seal is on. Now, a very important thing to do here before putting your cleaned up valve through the new seal is you want to take your valve and you want to dip it in oil. Just the shaft you want to dip, because when you slide it into the new seal, you don't want it to tear that seal. You want it to slide through easily. So I'm going to go ahead and dip this in some oil. Now that it's lubricated, I can go ahead and flip this over. And we're just literally going to slide this right back through. Just like that. So on this side, you'll see that the valve is back through. Now I'm going to show you the tool that we're going to use to be able to get the spring tightened down to be able to put those clips back on. So if we sit this off the table a little bit, I'll be able to show you guys. So we have a compressor clamp. This is used to put pressure on the spring so that you can put those clips back on and then release pressure and they stay on. Because if you were to try to put these pieces, those clips back on without this, it'd be very, very difficult. Those springs are pretty tough. So with this, what you're going to do is just open it up. One side is going to go on the valve. This side is going to go on the valve. The other side is actually going to hold the spring and the top hat for the spring on. So here's the spring, the top hat. This will actually sit like that, and then this will clamp and compress it. Let me get it on there and then I'll show you guys. Get it lined up and compress it. So that side is holding my valve. This side is holding the spring and the top, and you can see that that top is now open, and you can see the lip where those little clips are going to go in. So I will flip it over and show you guys. So there we are. There's our clip, or there's our top with the indent for the clips. So I will grab the clips now and show you with putting them on. So with these clips, there is a tapered edge. You won't be able to see it on camera, but one side is smaller than the other. One side's bigger, one side's smaller. The smaller side is going to go in to the top and sits in there just like that. on both sides. So both of them there. Both of them are in. Now I'm going to have to slowly remove tension from this. Oops. You release it, and it's on. Just like that, guys. There's our valve, new seal, cleaned up valve, and now it is back on. No issues. We can go ahead and flip this over. And we'll be able to see the two valves that we cleaned up here and here. So now I just got to do it for 14 others. Alright guys, here's some teamwork here.
Now wait a minute, disclaimer on the video. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to improvise right now. We've got a valve that has some hardcore stuck. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you know, that's not like manufacturer's insignia or anything. You know, that's carbon, and it's on there good. So we're gonna have to kind of come up with a way to get that off. I could stop the process for tonight, bring it to my shop tomorrow. What? Get it done, bring it back, but we're just not up for that right now. So we're gonna get it done right now. So too bad we don't have this live. If something goes down, we could have someone call 911 for us, but you know.
Okay, that's very good. Alright, so I'm going to man the drill with this really stiff wire wheel that would take your fingertips right off.
Again, this is not stiff enough to hurt this steel of this valve, but it's stiff. I wouldn't want to do the whole valve job.
Okay, let's turn this down.
And, well, keep the speed up. I'm going to need some speed on this bad girl.
Alright, you want to get nice and...
Are we nice and square here?
Okay.
Hold that as tight to your body. I need you to be my vice.
Should we go the other way?
Sure. Okay, keep going.
Just don't want to get that lip. I don't want to fuck that lip up.
Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't bad. Again, I really wouldn't recommend this, but it worked. So I don't know if you guys can see that in the light.
Oh yeah.
We got it. It's gone. That buildup. I don't know what was going on with this valve, but I mean, there's a small spot there. We don't want to get too heavy into it. Looks like someone's cleaned these before, maybe. They don't look bad. There's no effectiveness. You know, there's no effect on the back side of these. They seem like they're seating well. We're not going to grind them or anything with, you know, a lap tool. We're not going to lap them. But yeah, that's good to go.
I should have done that the whole thing.
Yeah.
I should have done the wire wheel on all of them.
Gloves and safety glasses, and you got a deal, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm also thinking about putting this block guard in while I'm here. Aaron's kind of knocking that out, and so I figure, well, might as well get something else done as well. I do have to, in the middle, it is kind of tight. I've already test fitted this, and it fit in perfect. So, yeah, I'm just gonna have to use a non-marring mallet and tap it in, basically. But yeah, there shouldn't be any issues. It's pretty tight, and it runs.
You guys can see, I mean, just even with that, you know, you spread out the center a little bit. We got it started in there. I mean, honestly, I guess the key thing with installing one of these is if you're going to do it this way, you can have it done at the machine shop, 100%. If you're going to do it yourself, just try to think about things. We want to start it in with by hand, so we can identify any binding issues, like Dom said. And sorry to interrupt if I did,
No,
but
no.
like he said, in the center, he noticed it was a little tight. So, we had to spring that out, and we kind of want everything level and evenly put in because we don't want to warp it or anything, put any uneven stress on any of the cylinders. But another thing we want to think about is when we're dropping this past this surface, we don't want the edge of the underside of this to catch this side or this side on the edge of where our coolant jacket is and hurt that edge. Now, you've got a head gasket that seals this whole flat surface. Don't get me wrong, but the less we can do to affect this block and this really nice surface we've got, the better. So, like Dom said, just be conscious of how that thing fits. Look for any tight, areas.
Yeah.
Kind of try to test fit it.
As long as we evenly tap it and we run around it on all the angles, we'll be fine. If it starts binding up in one spot more than another, we'll have to stop and look at it and then figure out where else we'll need to tap it to make it go in even. But it's all about slow and steady and making sure that it's all even. And it just needs to go just below the top of the cylinder. So,
and I'll be honest, guys, a hammer, even like, my snap-on, rubber mallet, the head of that hammer is only as big. If we had some, if we were really concerned about it, we could take like a piece
2x4.
of clean 2x4, make sure there's nothing on it, no, pieces of anything that's going to scratch anything, lay it on there and then tap it, and it'll spread out that, that force that we're putting on there. So instead of the rubber mallet being in this one spot, we've got this 2x4 laid on here and we're tapping evenly and it's kind of spreading it out. So, whatever. You guys will know when you get there and you'll kind of understand it.
Yeah.
Just don't mess it up.
Well, I'm gonna brainstorm real quick and then we'll get back at it. So I started actually doing this by hand and it went in super easy. So a 2x4, something like that would work great. If it was any tighter than it is, I would definitely put a 2x4 on it. But because it's going in so easy, I'm just gonna slowly go walk this thing around, walk this rubber mallet around it, and just set it in there. It's going in too easy, so I'm just gonna go slowly. And really, a block guard, what it's doing is it's making it so that there's no cylinder walk, there's no shifting of the cylinders. This is filling the gap, filling the void of where the cylinders could actually move and then crack, stuff like that. This is taking away the variance of moving this way or this way. It's just creating that solid from the cylinder to the block itself. It's just creating solid. The higher you want it, is as high as you can get, because a lot of times the cylinder will crack up on the very top of the cylinder. So you do want it as close, but again, you want it recessed just ever so slightly.
Yeah, and a lot of times if you talk to anybody who's turbocharged an engine that has free floating sleeves and an open coolant jacket, a lot of times with under boost, what you'll get is, since the pistons are in a sense being driven, there's a lot of force on them. A lot of times what you can get on these is an S curve shape from the way the motor strokes, because these are free floating, and this basically gives a bridge there to where it puts just so much more strength back in that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is one of the easiest ways. There's solid inserts that then get machined back. There's a lot of companies that do it.
CSS.
Yep, CSS is one of the big ones right now that's doing it.
I got this block guard for, I think, $45. It's a VMS, and I looked at a lot of the other styles. I even thought about doing Devco or It's
Can't think of
it's
it
the
right now.
mixture. It's like JB Weld basically, and what you do is you fill your block with rice, and what you do is you fill the block.
Isn't that what we do anyway?
Yeah, it is. You fill the coolant chamber with rice up until it's about a half inch from the top of the cylinder, and then you mix this mixture up, which is like a JB Weld. It's called Devco or Devco something, and then you pour that in, and it sits on the rice and hardens like steel, and then you go through and you drill holes, and then you drain out the rice. But um, you know, adding strength. This isn't gonna be some. This isn't dart. You know, I'm not doing a dart sleeve. I'm doing a block guard and some forged pistons and rods. You know, I'm going for 500 horsepower, and with a block guard and these rods and pistons, I'll definitely be able to achieve that. So, you know, if I wanted to go for 700, 800 horsepower, I wouldn't be doing a block guard. That's for sure. I'd be doing something a little bit more. But this is going to be you know, a race car I take out on the weekends and go to Firebird and run 10s. So,
Do our viewers know what Firebird is?
Firebird is our local drag strip here in Idaho. It's actually in Emmett, Idaho. Rising Sun, where we're at now, is in Boise, Idaho, and I live in Nampa, Idaho. So everything's kind of close to each other. But yeah, Firebird is our drag strip that is local, and
They have an extremely long legacy in the valley. The New family has a long legacy in the valley. Super amazing family as far as contribution to motorsports. Supporters of our local roadster show at our fairgrounds every year. Look it up. Look up Firebird Raceway. Look up the Boise Roadster Show. Look up the New family. You'll see what I'm talking about. Super awesome though. Really cool people. Really cool contributors to motorsport in our area. We're lucky to have it in our backyard.
yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna definitely take full advantage of the drag strip with this car. I'll probably be putting this motor into another hatchback, because to be able to hit the numbers that I'm going for, I'm going to need a lighter vehicle. But for the break-in process and for a little while, definitely going to be running the coupe. But yeah, so I've got that put in the block here. I'll show you guys. So we are just below the cylinder, if you guys can see. Just below it, all the way around. It's almost perfectly even all the way. So we are good there.
So one last thing that I wanted to show you guys before we say we're pretty much done with this head. We've got everything installed, new seals. We've cleaned our valves. We've checked all of our springs and retainers. Everything looks good mechanically. We know we're going to have good seals. The guides are all really good shape. So one of the things I want to do is we've got some gasket material on here, and a lot of times, you know, we sit here and we go around with a wire brush, or, you know, I have those like hard nylon scraper blades. But what I'm going to do is make it easy on myself, and I have these stud removers. And these studs, some of them have been replaced, as you can see. I think we did it the first time out when we did a lot of this work. So you can see, I think these are some of the stock ones. Well, maybe replaced, I can't say for sure, but we got these and put them in. So they're not as tight. But on these ones that are a little bit tight, these stud removers are really nice because they're a barrel style. And all they do is they just grip on the flat part of the stud, and you can see how easy that came out. Again, these weren't in there super hard, but they grip on this flat part here with these barrels that are inside here. And what I'm basically going to do is remove all of these, and it's going to give me a flat working surface for me to clean this. I can shove some material in here so that I don't get a lot of debris down in there. Again, this is just very finite. You can see I can take it off with my fingernail. Probably lead gasket material that was on there. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to clean this up. But I wanted to get these studs out of my way because we're going to do a more complete and better job when we have all of this out of our way, and we can go at it with a flat plane here. So I mean, by all means, you can clean these off, but will you really get in there and get right up next to where that stud was, or will you have a little bit of material there? And on the exhaust side, maybe it's not such a big deal, but on the intake side, if we have any kind of intake leak, it's going to affect how we run. It's going to affect our tuning, especially on Dom's turbocharged motor. It's going to affect all sorts of things. So getting these surfaces cleaned for the new gaskets to seal down is crucial. And this is just one super simple way to ensure that you can do that. Now we have a flat working surface. I'm not going to be worried about material against that stud because I just couldn't get in there with a scraper or something. And it's going to save me time. I mean, I'll be honest. There's nothing I hate more than spending forever trying to clean these gaskets off. So just one of those things that I've learned, doing a couple of these here and there that is super helpful. If you can get even a cheap set of stud removers, these kind of like I said, because of the barrels, they don't do any real damage to the threads, especially when you've got a shank part of the stud. Get them out of the way, get on a flat working surface. You're less likely to gouge the material, you're less likely to miss stuff. Makes it much easier, much more guarantee on the fact that it's going to be a better product in the end. So just a tip.
Heck yeah. Let's see what it is. Yep.
Yeah, and they're different sizes for different size studs. This is not the biggest kit. Maybe it doesn't do everything, but it works a lot of times for the metric studs. So yeah, thanks guys.
Give it, let it start. Good.
Alright guys, so something I wanted to share with you. We've got the head done. It was what we wanted to focus on today, is getting it ready. And some of the steps like you saw Dom show with the block guard, getting it in. We got the gasket material cleaned off like we talked about. Everything's in, everything looks good. Something I wanted to share with you guys is you saw me using our valve spring compressor. We use a couple different kinds for a couple different of the heads that we work on. For the B series, D series heads like this, because they have a little bit longer reach needed, this valve spring compressor is one of the best ones that I've used. I've used 3 different kinds, and I've found that I like this one. It's cheap, it works awesome, and it carries a lifetime warranty. So we got it from Napa Auto Parts, NAPA. And here's the information on it. It's part of their service tools line, so not their high-end Carlisle or anything like that. It's just their standard service tools line from NAPA, Napa Auto Parts. It works really well. We haven't had any issues with it. A couple of the cool things about it is that it's got the stepped arm on it here, or it comes with a straight arm for other stuff. It's got the long plunger here, so you can get on the back side of that head and get against that valve and not hurt any of the surfaces there. Again, it's a cheap tool that works really awesome. So if you guys are looking to do something similar to this, replace your seals, things like that, this is a good cheap tool to use. It doesn't have to be one of the best names out there. Napa's a great name, but it works well. So we just wanted to share that with you in case you guys want to do this project on your own and you're looking for this tool.
Heck yeah. Yeah, definitely check that part number out. So if you need to get one, there it is. And they're pretty reasonably priced. So want to say thanks guys for watching this video. Like and subscribe. It's been great. It's been a fun process, and it's only going to get better. This is the time where it's really going to start escalating and starting to get fun. So
we're getting antsy.
Yeah,
dude.
I can't sleep at night. So.
Yeah, eat, sleep, and breathe it, man.
Yeah, so thanks for watching guys. I'll have a link in the video with our Instagram. So check that out, and until then, keep building, and thanks.